Hello, my name is Franklin and welcome to my channel. Today I'm working on this Wacker Mini Roller. The customer says the engine is locked up and we've purchased a new engine and we're going to install the new engine in this Wacker Mini Roller. Okay, this here is the old engine. It is locked up, so it won't even budge. Well, no good to try to crank it. So the first thing we're going to do is disconnect the battery there, and then we'll take and unbolt these pieces right here. There's one bolt on top and there's one bolt on the bottom. Well, two bolts on top, one bolt on the bottom. And then we'll take this off right here and just pull this pump back so we don't have to disconnect anything on that. And it's got 4 mounting bolts on the bottom of the engine, and the wiring we'll take off the starter. We'll mark all these, take pictures and mark all of these to make sure we get them in the right place when we put them back together. And we'll put, this is the new engine right under here. It is a Predator engine from Harbor Freight. You can see Predator 670. So what we're going to do then is we are going to take, we'll have to extend this right here so it'll actually work with this machine. This is the starter key and system right there, and let's get to it. As you can see, I have removed the negative battery cable. Always remove the negative battery cable first. That way if you touch the side, it won't be a spark or any ground or anything. Then you can remove the positive afterwards. When you put them back together, you put the positive back on first, and that way there's no grounds or shorts, and then you put the negative on last, and there'll be no problems at all. I have also unbolted this piece. It had two 5/8 on it, and then that one was not actually bolted on, so we'll have to get some bolts for that one. And what we're going to do next is unbolt the pump. You can see it's got 2 bolts up here, this one and one over here, and only one on the bottom. There should be 2, but it only has one on the bottom on that side. So I'm going to take off all 3 of those, and then we're going to slide it out. Okay, now if you look inside on this side, you will see a little coupling there. See that? Now when we take this piece, it should just slide out. And then this piece will have to bolt onto the other engine. See here, I have the 9/16 wrench. So I'm going to take off this first one. And I'll take off the other one and the one on the bottom. And the whole pump should slide out as one piece. A little coupling there will come right loose. As you can see, I've taken off the other 2 bolts. I'll only have left this one right here. But there's a cable. This is the ground cable that goes to the negative of the battery, the one we disconnected. So you got to remember to, when you put it back on, to put that back with the negative cable, this bolt right here. Okay, if you look at it now, you see these hoses are long enough for me to pull it forward without taking them off. And this one here also was long enough for me to pull, but this one right here, the return line for the hydraulics of the tank is kind of short. So we'll have to pull this one off with a flat tip screwdriver. And this one here is pretty short too. See how it just goes right there? So there won't be long enough for it to just slide. So we'll go ahead and pull this one off here. And we'll pull it off from the top so it won't lose much hydraulic oil, maybe a drop or 2, but not much. So we'll go ahead and pull this one off. Okay. And then we'll pull that return line off. And then we'll see if we can pull it out. It should come out. The hydraulic tank's on bottom, so it shouldn't really pour much out. Yeah, we'll just get that up out of the way. Leave it right there for now. And then we'll pull off this one right here. And we should be able to pull it forward then. Okay, I have a 15/16 and a 1-inch backup wrench. There we go. Okay. Put these out of the way for now. Take this out. Now it is out of the way. Oh. Okay, there is one more thing holding it. If you look right here, you see that's your throttle cable that comes from your pedal in the inside, and it goes, well, the speed control, and this right here. So I'm going to pull that little nut off. And it should be a 7/16. Okay, I ended up putting a 10 millimeter in the back as a backup wrench, and 11 millimeter in the front. 11 millimeter is the same thing as a 7/16. So I'll go ahead and remove that and put it up somewhere so it doesn't get lost. Okay. Let's put this back up here so it'll come out properly. Okay. I'll put the nut back on it so it doesn't get lost. And this is the speed control cable. Control the speed of the hydraulics. So when you drive, kind of like your foot pedal. Okay, and now this one you can pick up and move out of the way for now. That should do the trick. Now we can unbolt the rest of those 4 bolts on the bottom of the engine and remove it. There are 4 bolts holding the engine down. There's one here on this side, and there's 2 in the same spot but the opposite side. So we'll take those out first, and then we'll mark these cables here. One is your choke, and one will be your throttle cable for the engine. And we'll mark those here, so we'll put them back in the same place on the new engine because it is the same engine, Harbor Freight engine. And we'll take this off, and we'll take off the wiring for the starter and the ignition, and that should be it. You're ready to come out. I am now going to disconnect these 2 choke and throttle lines. I have disconnected the hoses, pulled the pump off. I took out the 4 mounting bolts on the bottom of the engine. There's only 4 on the very bottom. We pulled this off. You see it's got a little coupling here, and this little rubber grommet goes in between both. We'll end up removing this coupling here and putting it on the other engine. But for right now, we're just going to remove these here, then disconnect the electrical wiring and the fuel line. So we'll do it now. We're taking these off right here. We'll disconnect it here first. Okay, we'll loosen this one up a bit so the line comes out. Then we'll loosen this one up. So we will connect these to the other engine. Don't know what they got going on there, but I'll go ahead, put the screws back in there so they don't get lost. Now we'll get this one. Pull the cable out. One is the choke cable and one is the throttle speed for the engine. Okay, so the engine is already disconnected. See that? The only thing we got connected now are the electrical wiring and the fuel lines. So we are going to unplug these. We'll take these wires off first here. Let's put you down a little bit. So all I gotta do is take off these wires here and the fuel lines. So this red one here, I'll just unplug it. The yellow one, find the end of it. There's no end of it. Yellow one, okay, the green one here. Just pull them loose. They have quick connects on them when they work. This one's probably stuck. Okay, it's off. Okay. There's another yellow one here. Off. And this red one here. Okay. So the only thing else to disconnect is that right there and the fuel line. Okay, on this one, I'm not sure you can see, there are two wires. Two red ones, a small one and a big one. I have zip tied them together to make sure we get them back in the same place together. One goes directly to the battery, and one of them goes, which gives the battery to the starter, and the other one goes to the ignition switch, which gives the ignition switch power. So, let's disconnect this one. Okay. Put it down there. Notice I put the nuts back on so it won't get lost. Now let's go to the other side and take off the fuel line. Everything here is already disconnected. So let's go to the other side. So here, all we have is this fuel line right here. It's not diesel, so it will not be a return line. Just this one feed line right here. So we'll disconnect that. It will leak a little bit of gas, but not much. We just want to make sure we keep this feed line up in the air. It's on there pretty good. Pull this one down and twist it. There it goes. Don't want to get a splash of gas in the face, so we'll do it slowly. Okay, it's off. Okay, hold that one up in the air so it doesn't get messed up. Now we'll push it over to that side there. Okay. If you have some big, strong, young guy next to you, have him help you. Otherwise, you'll have to maneuver it out yourself. It's not that heavy, but it's not light. It's best to get a hand if you can. If you can't, you should be able to put it down yourself. Just gotta do it slowly. Okay. All out. Okay, if you look at this one, you see that pulley on there? And it has an Allen screw in there. So you have to get an Allen wrench and unloosen that little Allen screw there and pull that off, and that will go right there on this one. So there shouldn't be any issues. It's the same shaft. See there? Oops, that one looks like it's been cut. Okay, if you look right here, you see this one here has this little coupling. I have already taken it off. It takes a 4mm Allen wrench and it pulls off. It has its keyway, but I took the key out. And it's gonna go on to this one here. This one came with a key, a long one. It's gonna have to be cut a little bit. But if you look at this shaft here, it's about an inch longer than that one. Someone has cut this one, you see? Cut off, it's a little crooked, you can tell it's been cut. So I will measure this one and this one over here, and I will cut off the difference. And then I will measure here to that rusted spot there, and I'll tighten it down in the exact same spot. That will make sure we got it back, get in the same place. So let's get started with that. As you can see, I have cut that shaft. It's not pretty, but I cut it. Now it's the same size as that one. I cut off exactly 1/2 of an inch. So now they are both the same size, and I can put this on there now. then put the engine in. Okay, see the shaft here? See from here to the rusted part right there? That's exactly 2 1/4, and that's where the end of that coupling was sitting at. So on this one, I put it in the same place, exactly 2 1/4 inches from the end. So it'll be in the exact same spot. It is the exact same engine, so shouldn't be any problem. This is a Predator engine, 670 I bought from Harbor Freight. Okay, I have tightened up. I picked up this engine and put it in myself. It's not very heavy, so it's best to get somebody to help you if you can, if someone's available. I just put it up and set it on the base, and I put in those 4 bolts. See right there? There's one here, one there, and there are 2 on the other side, which you can't see. All I did was sit it down and put in those 4 bolts, and they're facing down, and they all came with the nuts. Now I used the same mounting bolts that came with the engine that was mounted down to that wooden placard right there. So now I'm ready to put this pump back on. But what I did was I put this on the new engine, but I didn't tighten it down too much, just a little bit, because we're going to have to actually move this to make sure it's adjusted a little bit. I put it back exactly where it was, but it's best to don't tighten it up completely in case it has to be adjusted forward or out a little bit. So now I'm going to set it up so I can go ahead and put this pump back in its place and tighten it up. Okay, now we are going to sit this sucker back in. See, I got it set to the side. We're going to make sure the rubber grommet, this one, let's see here, we can get it out. Don't forget this little thing here. This is the grommet that goes between the 2 pieces. You can put it here. I'm going to put it on the one on the inside. We can put it on either one, but I prefer to put them on this one here and then slide them together. Okay, easy. Okay. Now is it in place? Let me see if you can see that. Okay. I don't know if you can see in that little hole. Probably not, but it's in place. I'll just put this back because it's not. You can't see that good through there. Okay. Let's put this down here a little bit. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is going to put this thing back on there and put 1 bolt in. So set it up, and we're going to put the little grommet in place. Okay, it looks like we're going to turn the pump a little to line it up. So I turned the pump down a little bit to line up the little piece. 1 bolt in to hold it in place. Okay, let me show you. Okay, I don't know if you can see in there. See how it's lined up against there completely? And see, it's all fitting the rubber pieces up in there, and you see this piece is up against, all the way up against the pump. There can't be no space there. It's all the way up, and that's good. So now we want to tighten this up so the little see the 2 pieces? They have to be up against each other, and they are. So now I can tighten up this and pull that Allen wrench out of there, and then tighten up these 4 bolts here, and we'll be good to go. Okay, now it's back in place. Okay, I'm gonna put 1 more of these in there and make sure it's tightened up good. Okay. In there by hand. We still got to tighten them up, and there are 2 more, 1 here and 1 on the other side, and then right here you want to put this bracket back on. There we go. Okay, now I'll put in the 2 bolts on the other side. Find them. Okay, here is 1. That's not it. Well, anyway. Okay, I've got the two top ones in. This one and that one. And I have this one here is the one that goes on the bottom, and I've put the one on the other side. This one is last because the ground wire that goes to the battery, the negative of the battery, goes down there, and this one goes bolted to it. And that's the ground for the whole machine. So that has to be a good ground. And when we get everything done, we'll connect this back up to the negative. When we get everything done, this goes to the negative of the battery. So for right now, we've got them all in there, hand tight. Now we're going to tighten them up with the wrench. Put them completely tight. It is a 14 millimeter. You can probably do with a 9/16 also. We're using a 14. Okay, that's tight. So now, this here had these two bolts on it, so put them on here. One here, and one here. And they were 11/16. We are using a 17 millimeter. Okay, then we want to tighten this up before we forget. Give it a good tight. Okay, then we pull it out of there. I'll get that in a minute. But anyway, these hoses here, I want to put them back on by hand first. Okay. Come out of there. Always put them on by hand first and then tighten them up with a wrench. And then there's another one somewhere. Oh, this one here. Don't forget to tighten them up with the wrench. This one in here. This is the return line back to the tank, and it has a hose clamp which is used with a flat tip. Okay, we're tightening it up with a flat tip. So we're going to need a 15/16 wrench and a flat tip screwdriver. Let's get those and tighten them up. Okay, they're already tightened up by hand. We're just going to give them a tight with the wrench. Make sure they're good and tight. And then we're going to need a screwdriver, a flat tip to tighten up that one. Let's get that. Okay, so I was able to tighten up this. I put this back on. This here is the connection for the forward, reverse, and neutral of this pump, which controls the direction of flow and the speed. So that's all connected. It's all bolted down completely. All the hoses are reconnected. So all we need to do now is connect up here. We need to connect here these throttle cables and the choke cables. We'll connect both of those, throttle and the choke cable, and then we'll have to connect the electrical and the gasoline. The gasoline connects right here. Okay, see this right here? That's the gasoline, and it connects right there. And here we connect the gasoline connection. Fuel line connection goes here. Then we tighten it up here with a flat tip screwdriver. This is where the fuel goes in to the engine. Tighten that up. We'll have to check the lines and stuff and make sure everything's clear and clean. Okay, and now all we have to do is connect the choke and throttle cable here and connect the electrical wiring, and that's it. What we're going to do now is change this here. The control came with the engine. Had its own cables, its own throttle cable, and its own speed control cable, and its own choke. Came with chokes. This one here is the choke, and this one here is the throttle cable. So we are going to remove this one and put the throttle cable that's original, this here that came with the machine. So let's get that. Okay, we're going to disconnect this one here, because this one here, if you move the throttle up and down, it's going to be this one here that moves. Oh no, that one's the choke. So this one's the throttle. I'll move the throttle on the machine, and this one moves. Okay, so it's all the way on slow. So, and on this one, the throttle is this one here. So we'll go here, take this off here. This one out. Oops, lost that. Pull this one out and find the piece we dropped. Okay, so this one goes in here first, since it's all the way out. It's going to be pulled in. We'll go ahead and tighten this up. Like that. Put this one. Whoops, okay. Put this back here. We don't want to pull it. Fasten it down. Like that. And that one like that. Just the way it was. Put it back the way it was. Just like that. The marks are on the cable showing where it was at. So we want to put it more or less in the same area. Just to be sure. Okay. So now we're going to tighten it down. Okay. And then this one, just want to pull it, loosen it up. Pull it tight, more or less, right there, and tighten it up. Okay, this one needs to be fastened down. I will test it. Works, okay. And that is the speed. Okay, so that one's good. We'll just screw another tight just to be on the safe side. That one is tight. Tight. Okay, now let's get the other one. I'll take this one off here. Like so. Loosen it up. Doesn't want to cooperate. Let me get a socket. Okay, this other one here is the choke. So loosen it up. Pull the cable out. And that'll be this one right here. Probably should have done first. Since it's on the bottom, loosen it up. There she goes. Let's see if it pulls out. It does. Okay. Let's put this other one in there. Like so. Under there. Where it came out from. I'm going to clamp it down in the same spot it was. If you look on the line itself, you'll see a little mark where it was clamped down at. So to save time and effort, we put it back in the same place that it was initially with the other engine. Just push it through there until you get to the right spot. Okay, let's loosen it up a little more. There we go, right there. So now it's in the same spot it was before. So we're going to tighten it up. Tighten it good so it doesn't slip at all. Okay. And this one will stick in the little screw also. You can see that. Stick it in a little hole and tighten it up. Pull it tight and tighten it up. Okay. Both are on it down. Let's hold on to it and tighten it up a bit. Okay, good and tight. And let's test it out. There we go. Okay. Now the only thing left to do is the electrical wiring. Okay, now you see this right here. Let's go down a bit. If you can see these wires here. Not this. That we can take off. We need to put oil in here before we start this thing. So I have to go buy some 30 weight. We'll Google it to make sure we get the right what we need. But there's no oil in the engine at all. Maybe preservative. There's no engine oil. Okay. Now you see these wires here that are on there? This control mechanism came with it. You see it has its own start, stop button and switch and everything. I'm going to keep that, but it doesn't reach all the way over to there. I'm going to install it over there, but to do that, I'm going to have to extend these wires here. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to cut and splice to make them longer, so they'll go all the way through the bottom, through there, and up through this column and up to there to do that. So right now I'm going to get ready to cut and splice. Okay, you see how short this is right here? Now I want this to be over there, up against right here. I don't know if you can see it. I want it to be right here. That's why I'm bolted on, right there. But it's not long enough to do that. So instead of being right here, where it is, right here, this is the mechanism that starts and stops the engine and everything. I want it to be right over here. Right here. So, in order to get it there, I'm going to have to make these wires longer. As you can see, I want this one to be right here. I'm going to bolt it on right there using the same holes it has. But the wires are too short, so I'm going to cut them and put this wire in between each one. As you can see, there are many colors. There are a total of 5 wires. So I'm going to have to cut 5 wires. I don't have all the colors and different sizes, but this one here is the same size as the thickest one. So I'm going to make it, I'm going to cut it, each one in the middle, and add enough to go down to the bottom, down through there, see a little bridge right there, across there, in through here, back up through here, in the middle, inside, and then it'll come out over here. And that's where I'll bolt it on at. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to cut them all in the middle and splice them in through there. I'll show you that what I did. Okay, now they're all different colors. These two look the same. That's a black one, but that's a black one with the red tracer on it. So I'm going to go ahead and cut them all now, and then I'll just add the piece to all of them, and then I'll mark them as we go. So we'll go ahead and cut this one. I'll cut this one. And then we'll extend them all. Make them all longer. Only connect them to the same wire. There we go. This thing will mount on here. This thing will be mounted right here. This is where it will go. So they'll be able to control it from here. Okay, to be on the safe side, I'm going to remove this panel right here. It has a few bolts here on the side and about 4 bolts running along the bottom, and this whole panel comes off. And then I'll run one wire all the way through there and comes out here, and that way I'll know that one wire is the right size, and then I'll go ahead and make the other 5 the exact same as that one. Okay, as you can see, this red wire right here that I put on there comes out through here, and I got it all the way running up through here and here. So I know it's going to reach. So now all I have to do is cut 5 more, the same as this, and get some wire loom to protect it. Then I can mount the key switch on here, and we'll be done. Okay, I've got all the wires connected, and I bought a big thing of wire loom. I bolted this little box down. This is the box that was mounted on the engine. I extended the wires so it would go through there, down to the bottom, up through there. I bought this big thing of wire loom from O'Reilly's 3/4 inch for $12. And now the only wire I got to connect up is this one here from the positive of the battery. Remember, I put these zip tie on this one so we wouldn't get them mixed up. So I just need to pull off the 2 washers here and put this one on and that one on, and then once I get this tightened up, I'll be able to crank it and check it out. And I don't think there's any fuel in there. We drained the tank out, so we won't be able to start it up, but I'll tighten that up and we'll come right back. Before you crank these at all, before you get ready to start these, you got to remember to put oil in it. Here's your dipstick here, and it takes 10W30. So you pour it in there and check the dipstick. I've already poured in half of this. It goes in right here. Oops, I spilled a lot of it. This thing gets hot, so we got to clean off the oil that I spilled. Let me get the... Okay, this is the dipstick for checking the oil level. See the two holes? The top hole is full and the bottom hole is too low. It's supposed to be between those two, but if it gets below the bottom one, you definitely have to add. But to the top of the top hole, right at the top hole is full. You want to stop right there. Okay, I have charged the battery. I changed the positive terminal connector here. I put on the wire loom. I still got a zip tie and put the cover on it, but I'll take care of that. I put the a zip tie here and some electrical tape, but everything seems to be connected properly. Just gotta put this cover back on too. Start it right up. Sounds good. Steers. Forward. Backwards. Everything works good. Looks good. There we go. We'll call this one quits then. Okay, so now all we got to do then is put some zip ties here and some electrical tape. I ran the wire loom on top of all the wires that I put in. So I'll put some zip ties on this on the inside, and I'll put that cover back on, the cover that goes over this, so it'll all be enclosed. And I'll zip tie all those together so they don't get caught up in anything. Then I'll clean up all my mess. All of these bolts, you see here, they go inside of the mounting plate, which is over there, which I'll put in right now. Okay, as you can see, I got all the wires in, got the wire ties, got the zip ties, got them zip tied at the bottom here, ran this wire through here, and I got the cover back on. So we're ready to run this sucker, is ready to go. We'll call it quits here. Thank you very much for watching my channel. I really appreciate it. If you don't mind, take a chance to hit that thumbs up button. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. And we'll see you in the next one.